trying to win 2 million American doll hairs over on Underdog Fantasy. It's Best Ball Mania season with Hayden Winks, no longer of Underdog Fantasy. What a week for you, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a big month for the fellows over here. Congrats to you as well. Like really excited for your new landing spot, and obviously same with mine over at Yahoo. But not going too far. The first stream I'm doing as a Yahoo employee is an Underdog draft. You know how it goes. I think I'm eligible if we actually bink this one, that I can actually take some of the money if you're willing. So let's lay in this plane.
Of course, bro. Hayden and I will be splitting the $2 million. I'm going to use all of his insider information to accomplish that goal. I kid. But credit to Hayden. Had this planned a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, the big news said we don't have to necessarily worry about it. He says, screw that. We are drafting, baby. So we are at the 102. Jahmyr Gibbs went 101. Hayden, Bijan Robinson, no need to get too cute.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to get too cute in half PPR. One of these running backs are the right call. I was doing my PPR rankings, and now I gotta have PPR brain. For the last 5 years, it's all half PPR thanks to Underdog, and now like Yahoo, I'm sure most leagues over there, I'll have to ask them are PPR. So now I'm like doing like PPR rankings and like really sitting and going through that. I think in that I have Jamar Chase as 101, even ahead of Gibbs and whatnot. But that's a much more difficult decision once we get to full PPR.
That's provocative, though. So if we are going full PPR, you're saying just give me the best wide receiver on planet Earth?
I think so. I was just looking at like some of the wide receiver fall off. I think like from like the top 10 guys, like that next tier is a little bit intimidating to me. And you can still get two quality running backs at the 2-3 turn. So I'll have to sit there and like do a couple more drafts in full PPR to like make sure that, you know, this isn't like some galaxy brain take. And like obviously take Jahmyr Gibbs first overall for all I care. Like he's going to be amazing.
That is one of those things, man, where I feel like, particularly in these best ball streets, for the first time that I can remember, everyone's actually embracing the idea of taking 2 or even 3 running backs inside the first 3 or 4 rounds. And yeah, I don't know about you, Hayden, but I've been around the block enough in this industry to know that just when we all think we have it all figured out, that's sometimes when the house of cards comes crashing down. So it's good to hear that you are still in on taking some of these wide receivers early, because as much as I get the allure of these running backs and everything, they're good players and all. I do understand it. The other side of the coin is like the debt that you, if you will, because some of the wide receiver 2s, wide receiver 3s, all new multi-tight end personnel, you could make the argument that the wide receiver 1s, the elite ones, are actually more valuable than ever.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking with the Jamar Chase stuff. I still think that the running backs in half PPR are still underpriced. They're going up in price. I still think if you look at the projections, and I've done a lot of like fantasy points over replacement research, they just are under projected, or under drafted. Same thing with the quarterbacks. Like they add so many points, and I think we've been very wide receiver pilled on half PPR. And like finally, the market's still adjusting. And like you said, I think that it's the team, like NFL team wide receiver 2s, NFL team certainly the wide receiver 3s. Those guys have just been taking a big hit because of the philosophy of defenses. You mentioned the tight end personnel, running backs catching more passes, quarterbacks running and scrambling more. So I think the wide receivers have taken a hit over the last 5 years, where to me the running backs look really good just because the other positions are falling off.
About to be back on the clock here again, picking from the 2 spots. We're going to have 2 of the next 4 picks here at the 2-3 turn. I'm still looking for the great wall of running backs, I guess, going from the end of round 1 to round 2, like 8 in a row. They're all out of the picture. We do still have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Rashee Rice, Brock Bowers if he makes it one more pick. Any thoughts here, Hayden?
Yeah, I mean, if Bowers falls, that's a no-brainer to me. This is a part of the draft where, so this is no-brainer Brock Bowers.
Let's get it.
But the 2-3 turn, I do think this is like, if you're thinking about best ball and you're trying to think about these tournaments and low-owned combinations, I do think there's not that much of a difference between like the 25th overall player and like the 33rd overall player in best balls. Like this would be a position where if you wanted to scroll down and bring somebody up the board, I'm okay with that. Like to me, like I think that Travis Etienne is going to be awesome this year. So like this would be like the time to bring him up. T. Higgins is like another one of these kind of leverage off the Jamar Chase. Like it's just like you don't have to do this every single time. I do think there's a little game theory element just because there's not that much of a difference between all these guys.
Let's get some T. Higgins. Absolute dog. You look at some of the, I didn't miss my pick. It was queued up. Calm down, underdog. But you look at like the 25 plus point games, man, he is up there. Like, what was it? 2024 was really the last time and only time we saw him and Burrow healthy for the whole season. And he finished wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6. So great. I talked to Rich Rebar for an hour today. Awesome time. You guys can find that video where you're listening to us right now. And Reeves had a crazy stat though with the Bengals. They are favored in 15 of their 17 games this year. Only the Rams, I believe, have more right now. So could the defense be a little better? Okay, I don't know. I just think the Bengals could be a wagon, man.
Yes, I agree. Like, I think that they're very much in the race. T. Higgins is like the most underrated receiver on like a per game basis. If you're looking at his ADP versus what he's done the last couple of years, I mean, it's like not even close. And that's with Jamar Chase staying healthy. Like, what happens if Jamar Chase misses a month of the season? Like T. Higgins, we will be ranking him. It'll go Puka, JSN, and then it'd be like, all right, yeah, T. Higgins time, wide receiver 3 in our weekly rankings. So like that's like the upside, and he's got a kind of a built-in floor. So like to me, him versus I think Smitty and Rashid Rice and those guys, I kind of been convinced that he should just be at the top of that list. I think on a baseline projection, it looks similar, and like his ceiling case, I do think is really, really high if something ever happened to Jamar.
Also, just looking at, George Pickens getting the benefit of the doubt in a lot of these drafts. Because, again, we took Higgins a little bit ahead of where he goes, guys. I just think it makes no sense given the gap between those guys. As we're making it through round 3, though, I heard you say, man, Travis Etienne, I guess we're actually going through with that name. You're in on him this year? Because I don't know, man. I get some of these dead zone vibes, particularly if Kamara is going to stay there, which it sure seems like he is.
Yeah, I think Kamara is going to be there. I think they're going to wind him down. I think that he doesn't have to catch all the passes in the world to be a fringe RB1 this year. We saw that kind of last year where he wasn't like a full bell cow, but he's going to get all of the early down stuff because Kamara, I think, is just kind of cooked in that department. And Jacksonville's offensive line for the last couple years, even last year when the team was good, has not been very good. I think it's actually a pretty big upgrade environmentally for him. I think the offensive line is really good. And it seems like Shuck is solid enough. I trust Kellen Moore, and they don't have like that many options to get the ball to across the board. So I think Alvin Kamara is probably going to catch some passes, certainly, but I think Travis Etienne is going to have 15 plus touches per game, and I would not be surprised if his yards per carry and all that type of stuff goes up. So he was much better than this kind of ADP last year where he finished.
These guys, Jeremiah Love, and I will admit, even I'm calling him Etienne. I don't care. Once they're getting into the mid part of round 3, though, it does become a little bit easier. I don't quite get the, Jeremiah Love's a must click in the early parts of round 3, but, the devil on my shoulder is like, this dude is freaking awesome at football. Why would you not want to draft someone who's freaking awesome at football? So we will see how the cookie crumbles over there. Making our way through round 4, start off with Bijan Robinson, Brock Bowers, and T. Higgins. People are saying maybe the overall RB1, tight end 1, and wide receiver 1, Hayden. Who knows? Things could happen. Thoughts coming up here. I'll go ahead and move off the board so you can see it, the lovely side part of trying to draft a team on a stream. But we got Burden, Evans, Waddle, Jamo, Devontae. There are a couple running backs, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Travion Henderson, who I wouldn't hate as well. What are we thinking?
Yeah, it's probably going to be doubling up on the receivers if they fall to us. I do think that Waddle's an amazing selection. Colson Loveland, like in a vacuum, would be the best thing. I don't think I would do Colson Loveland with Brock Bowers necessarily. But Waddle, I like Jamo. I think Mike Evans is solid. And then my favorite running back of the bunch would be DeAndre Swift, I think. I have not been sold on the David Montgomery stuff yet. To me, that's more dead zone than anything. So I think Waddle's for sure the pick. Just, Sean Payton cooks, Jaylen Waddle cooks whenever he gets, he's like the focal point of the offense. Bo Nix is fine enough, and Cortland Sutton is, probably about to decline, and they don't have anyone really behind them. So, to me, it's a no-brainer.
Jaylen Waddle on the squad. Henderson and Judkins went up next. DeAndre Swift, I feel Jameson one's really good, don't get me wrong, but how we like DeAndre Swift?
I think straight up, DeAndre Swift's going to outscore Jameson Williams on a
Let's get him then.
Total points. And I think I get nervous when my teams don't have enough running backs early on because, you can find some decent running backs like the Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson range. I like those guys. I really like them as my flex, not my RB2 going into drafts. So I want to keep pace with the running backs.
I'm with you on Montgomery, though, because earlier this offseason, I was like, well, that defense is going to be sick. Maybe for once, this reshuffled offensive line can actually be good. Like, what's stopping Montgomery from falling into the end zone 11, 12 times? But just the more I try to check myself, looking at some of the Vegas implied team totals, like, again, it's July. Every team is improved. Every team's going to be great all of a sudden. But if we actually go through and rank the offenses, I think we'd all agree Houston probably still projects as a below average scoring group overall. So what are we really in there for? Just that volume. So could he still make it and score double-digit touchdowns? I guess that could happen. But the other scenario is he's pretty inefficient in a bad offense, and Woody Marks takes a pass down work. I don't love that in round 5, Hayden.
Yeah, I just think that there's probably not that big of a difference between David Montgomery and Woody Marks if we're like continuing David Montgomery slightly going down in his career. And he's always had really good, or not always, but with the Lions, he's had some of the best offensive lines in football.
Yeah.
And offensive coordinators and head coaches. And like, I don't trust this offensive coordinator situation. Their center is going to be a rookie changing positions. Like, he did not play center in college, and now he's gonna play center in the pros. Like, those type of things make me just a little bit nervous, where like I would much rather have the Colston Lovelands. I would have some of these wide receivers, and I just ultimately could not really muster up a good reason why he's all that dissimilar to, you know, Chuba Hubbard, for example. Like, is there really a big difference? Like, those guys are like 2-3 rounds apart. I would rather just kind of wait.
I would think there's a little more takeover potential for Brooks versus Woody Marks, but the point stands when it's round 5 versus round 7. That is wild. So Brock Bowers, I totally see the scenario where he could just blow up. Ben Solak has been writing excellent articles at ESPN, was saying one of his bold predictions was Brock Bowers wins offensive MVP of the season.
Wow.
I'm at 17% with him, which is a good bit, man. Like, you know, in round 2, round 3, you definitely got to be drafting him to get there. I will say, though, and maybe this is just my July rose-colored glasses, Hayden, but I do think some of the times where I'm waiting at tight end, I'm just taking 3 after round 10 or 11. I've liked those Bills more. Does that mean anything? Potentially not. But like, that's my only argument against Bowers early.
Yeah, I like Brock Bowers the most in redraft full PPR, because in redraft leagues, you have to pick which tight end is going to go into your lineup before the games have started, where in best ball, we can just play 3 touchdown roulette with the tight ends. And that's been a very profitable strategy for a very long time. I'm open to that in half PPR best ball. I do think in managed redraft, especially with some of like the default rankings, like not up to par in my opinion, I would rather bet on myself at like finding like the sleeper wide receivers and running backs, and I would just gobble up Bowers and Colston Loveland as like my 2 targets.
Dude before us has Jamar Chase. I'm guessing he's taking Burrow. If not, we can probably push it. He did not take Burrow. Okay, you want to push it? Do you care?
I don't think there's a reason to push it. I think like he's like clearly the best for our team. So I'm scared to compete. I would rather just take Burrow on. Unless there's like somebody that you really love like behind
there's
him.
not. There's not. Yeah. There's no one here that I'm just dying comes back to us. I like Quentin Johnson a lot freaking more, man, when he was going like a round earlier. I still do like getting pieces of the Chargers offense. Yep. Metcalf is there too. I like trying to come away with one of the Steelers running backs, but the board's pretty open. What are you feeling?
I like Pollard, Warren, Quentin Johnson, Ramondre. I would lean towards one of the backs, but I don't have a strong preference you can sell me on.
Warren, most upside of the 3 in a best case scenario?
So. Yeah, okay. I think so. That offensive line is very underrated. Like that offense, like they're literally just being held back by the quarterback play. To me, they got good enough skill players. I think Jaylen Warren's a hell of a football player, and Rico Dowdle is going to like mix in like 4-minute drill stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jaylen Warren catches a lot of passes this year and he splits the early down work. And like, to me, that's enough to pay off as a flex.
Second most RB targets in the league last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And yeah, Kenneth Gainwell had something to do with that. But I think more than anything, man, you've watched every snap just like me, Aiden. Aaron Rodgers, 42 years old. Anyone's breathing on him, anyone's even close, man, just let me get the ball out of my hands. So, yeah, probably not great for the Steelers' real-life ambitions, but quite great for our running backs when we are getting them from that squad. So, through 7 rounds, again, start off with Bijan Robinson and Brock Bowers. T. Higgins and Jaylen Waddle, a little soft at wide receiver, so we're going to have to start going hard in the paint there.
DeAndre Swift. Profitable, by the way, Ian. Hey. Soft at wide receiver works.
There we go. Let's get it, man. Got Joe Burrow for our guy, T. Higgins, and then Jaylen Warren as well. So, we are in a position with Burrow and Bowers. Definitely, I would say a tight end. We only need 2 of them. We'll see a quarterback. If there's the right guy later that's sliding, okay, we'll get 3. But we could go with like a 2-2-5-9 build here.
Yep, I think that's totally viable. I think with the quarterback, this is like for debate. If we want to draft a quarterback in the next 2 rounds, then I think it's like just those two. I would say like all the way to Kyler Murray. I think Burrow plus Kyler Murray, I think is good enough. Once you go to like Burrow with Malik Willis, then it gets a little bit more questionable. It's a much harder debate though because the quarterback threes are priced way up on Underdog. Like, usually those were all 17th and 18th round picks. Now they're like 14th round picks, and like that doesn't sound like a big difference, but historically the best teams on Underdog have drafted their third quarterback after the 15th round or later. And now a lot of the 3 quarterback builds are like the 13th, 14th, 15th round. So like we are adjusting to where it's like kind of uncharted territory, which makes me not say it's like not worth it, but it's like probably you're not sneaking it by anybody now.
I did notice that, man, because the big conversation has been QBs like 2 through 7 are cheaper than usual. But the other part of that is, like you said, everyone else is now more expensive. So got to be careful about, again, chasing that up the board. So we are hitting that point where, I mean, it's good. We need a couple wide receivers because there are still some out there, but it's starting to get a little bit iffy. So I think with our 3 running backs, we're going to avoid this tier and be double tapping the man in yellow. Again, got Xavier Worthy, Michael Wilson, Ricky Bullets, Michael Pittman, Jacoby Myers, Matthew Golden is down here somewhere as well. For me, that's kind of the drop off. I'll give him my Travis Hunter pitch here in a bit. Don't you worry. But are you buying back in on Xavier Worthy? Because I am, but I don't feel great about it.
Yeah, as long as that wasn't him in that freaking grass, then I'm in. Look, Rashee Rice is good in that role, but beyond that role, he's just like not really moved the needle. Xavier Worthy was a first rounder going to his year 3 last year. We could look back and be like, oh yeah, remember when Travis Kelce just murdered him in the first game and then he had ankle injuries the rest of the season? Like maybe like that really slowed him down. Now he's, half of our size, so injuries will be a problem for him, but there's an upside case with him. So like to me, this would be my favorite thing.
And Andy Reid directly said they limited and did different routes than what they were planning on because of that injury. So I think this guy is probably hoping that Worthy is going to come back to him. He will not. Welcome to Team Free Duke Johnson. Out of this next group, I've usually been clicking Ricky Pearsall, but I'm open to other ideas.
Yeah, Ricky Pearsall is an interesting cat because I'm not even sure if he's good or not. He's kind of really good on like the crossing runaway routes, and like everything else has like not really shown up yet. But like there's a lot of downside in that skill group. Like it's big names, but like if Kittle's not the same, if Mike Evans gets injured, it's like, and Christian McCaffrey gets injured or it's just not as good. Like he's the only young guy in the offense. Like they really, Stribling of course too, but semi-established, like he's the young guy in an efficient offense. So like there's an upside to be had here. It is concerning that the 2 guys that we have are like 175 pounds back to back, but we'll figure that out later.
We took the one young guy in the offense, but he's also like now the token young guy who gets injured all the time as well. So we'll see there. But no, man, I think he's good. I think the crispy, I don't like that there's some of these guys where they got the crispy route running, but it doesn't show up in the yak game. And Pearsall is one of those guys. So, I don't love that facet of it. But at the same time, man, like, starting off last season, him and Purdy, that chemistry was fantastic. And then he got injured, and I get it. But I just feel like Ricky, if he's playing throughout the season and everyone else stays healthy, man, this feels like probably about where he finishes, maybe even like a little bit lower. But to your point, one of Evans or Kittle or CMC go down, like we're going to be ranking Pearsall much higher than this.
Yeah, and the Kittle stuff has been like very optimistic based off of the reporting, but at the same time, like he did tear his Achilles like in the middle of January. Like
he could be back in week 1, but just not be 100%. Like I feel like everyone just dismisses that possibility.
He can also be like, they're hopeful he's out there. George Kittle's the man, and like they're like, and we're gonna put you on PUP to start the season still because it's absurd. Like that's like. No one's bringing that up. I don't think it's the most likely outcome. It is certainly on the table. I mean, like middle of January, torn Achilles. And then everyone's like, look at him at the tight end university. And everyone's like, look at him go. I'm like, is he not limping everywhere? Am I the only one?
Look at him go.
is he not limping everywhere? Like he's probably on pace relative. Like I'm not talking shit on George Kittle here, but like, let's be realistic about what this is. Like a 33-year-old who tore his Achilles in the middle of January. I'm a little bit nervous.
It's the same thing with Scatterbo and Judkins. Yeah, I get it. They should be here by week 1, but just the history of some of these fractured fibulas, man. Like the guys were back, and even Tony Pollard said that following year. He didn't feel like himself till week 12 or whatever it was. So, okay, guys, we are through 8 or 9 rounds now. It is adding up quickly. Don't have any natural stacking partners for a second quarterback. We could go with the Raiders, but it's the Raiders. So obviously, Pearsall, Worthy, and those guys are gone. Still have some opportunities, so we'll see what happens. But round 10 coming up. Matthew Golden still on the board. You buying the bounce back, Hayden?
I would love it. Yeah. I thought that his tape was not nearly as bad as everybody was saying. Like he was not getting the schemed up touches that I was kind of hoping that he would get, but he still looked really fast on tape. And there were some moments after the catch, they didn't give him like that position very often. And it seems like just based off of the coaching comments that he didn't fully grasp the playbook, or they didn't trust him to fully grasp the playbook. And like now there's no excuses going into year 2. So I think that Matthew Golden's the perfect sleeper, like post hype sleeper. It's like, to me, very obvious because like everybody in the Packers offense is really efficient. Like even the guys that we don't trust, like the Dontavian Wicks, like they are all of a sudden like popping in the analytics models over the last couple of years. So it's like, could the first rounder be really good? I think so.
All right, thoughts here. We're gonna be on the board in a second. Got some quarterbacks. Don't necessarily need one on this pick if we want to wait. Casey Concepcion hanging out there.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that would be my call.
Okay. As a avid, probably ill-advised Jerry Jeudy drafter, I have not been getting a ton of KC, but I don't know about you, man. I thought he was deserving of being in that upper echelon, the top wide receivers. I had Lemon, Tate, and Tyson ahead of him, but I did have KC like in that tier at least.
I think I had him wide receiver too, but I'd have to go back in my official ranks. They were very close to me. I think he's got like a Steph Diggs type of ceiling.
He was dusting the best corners in college football, man.
Everybody, man.
Sorry, we're back on the clock here. Do you think we need a quarterback? Love, Baker, Willis? Is there anyone else you'd love?
I'd be tempted. Let's see if we can. What stacking?
We'll go Jaden Higgins and try to Stroud.
That's perfect. Yeah, we need wide receivers. And like we're just drafting all the sleepers. Like we just did a wide receiver sleepers video. I'm sure you've written stuff. It's like, we just drafted all of them. Like this is the area: Worthy, Pearsall, Casey Concepcion, Jaden Higgins. You mentioned Matthew Golden. Like this is the sleeper tier. Like they'll be drafted. They have a chance to be top 36 wide receivers, and we don't even have to decide which week they're going to be good. Like we just like gobble all of them up and like pray for the best.
Dude, and I feel like I usually don't get this in rooms. I'm hopeful for like 2 of these guys, and we actually managed to get a lot of them coming as everyone else was zagging and catching up elsewhere. So, again, some of the advantages of actually only having 2 wide receivers through the first 6 or 7 rounds. I remember Hayden before it was like was that 4 and 9 or 4 and 8? Like there was like this general idea to the wide receiver room, but the way running backs get pushed up now, do you have like more of a kind of, you want 5 by round 10 or 11? Like has that changed for you?
Yeah, so the golden rule, this was like the first couple years, was 3 wide receivers through round 7. And that is still like very much like that has been profitable pretty much every single year. I'm about to write up the newest edition of that column where I have exactly the thresholds across the board. But the running backs, to me, like that's like the bigger differentiators. Like you really do need 3 running backs by a certain point. I forget exactly where it is. And you're really just thinking about diminishing returns. Like we were light at wide receiver and then we caught up. So like now I think officially we have a balanced team. Like we don't have to keep hunting for more wide receivers. Like we have our 6th wide receiver is way better than everyone else's 6th wide receiver. Same thing with our 5th wide receiver in these rooms. So I feel back to being comfortable. So like now to me, it's just about best player available, team stacks, and like roster construction doesn't really matter to me nearly as much. We caught up.
We've basically covered our bases everywhere. Need that QB2, but obviously drafting Joe Burrow early, not trying to practice being effed. We're just hopeful that Joe Burrow is going to be the man out here. So CJ Stroud is right in line with where we will be picking next. Also got Travis Hunter, Rashid Shaheed. Are you drinking the Keaton Mitchell Kool-Aid? 80% Devon Achane would be like 15 PPR points per game, Hayden. Isn't that how
wow, works? That is pretty interesting math. I like Keaton Mitchell more in best ball than in redraft. I think he's going to be frustrating in redraft because he's going to be teasing us. And it's going to be like 50-yard touchdown. Everyone puts him in the lineup and then rug pull. Like, I think that's just how it's going to go. I wish Kimani Vidal was on another team because I think he's actually pretty decent. And I think he's going to actually play. And I would not be surprised if this is a 3 running back approach where Kimani Vidal plays some of the passing situations because he's the most trusted run blocker. So, and then they use a fullback and stuff. So like, that's the backfield that makes me a little bit nervous. Like I understand the steam. Trust me, I really want these Chargers players.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, exactly explain to me how the touches are going to be divvied up. Because if it's like 7-8 carries to Keaton Mitchell, because Mike McDaniel loves him, he's a perfect fit. And Kimani Vidal plays the passing downs. And then Omarion Hampton's also a first rounder with some juice. Like, I'm not sure how to play it.
That's a concern for Hampton. That's why I haven't been able to quite prioritize him at the round 1-2 turn.
Agreed.
But it scares me, man, because if he just gets the job, then we're going to be cooking. Easy CJ Stroud here.
Yeah, I would say, it's Stroud and then Travis Hunter. This would be the spot where like you could push Stroud because the player behind us has 2 quarterbacks, but that's a risk. So it's up to you.
Let's get risky.
Let's do it. Another wide receiver sleeper. I mean, we just drafted 5 of them in a row.
Dude, I love Travis. Oh my God, Hayden, I was doing FFPC last night, like just co-hosting one. I'll be getting in the Guerrilla Streets here soon. Good call, man. Look at this.
Let's go.
Guys only been drafting in these streets for a couple minutes now, and he's already making hot stuff.
I've been a terror in the employee contest to keep it $1. So yeah, shout out to all the employees. Yeah, now have a chance of winning.
I saw you tweet like after the season, you're like, no one knows that I just won some employee only Pomeranian Superflex.
Oh yeah.
That's so funny. But no, dude, Travis Hunter went like round 14 or 15, and every single guy that was co-hosting, and they're all good dudes and everything, but they were like, sell us on Travis Hunter. And I was like, he looks freaking beyond dynamic with the ball in his hands. He's a contested catch artist. He was a number 2 overall pick. He could play 60% of the routes. And if one guy gets injured, we're going to be drafting him freaking 5 rounds earlier. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Good. I'm good with that.
That's it. I mean, like, at a certain point, you just have to look around the room and like see the players you're drafting next ahead of them. Like, we're not even sure if these guys are going to play that much. Like, Jonah Coleman, same area as Travis Hunter. Are we sure Jonah Coleman's really going to play?
Emmett Johnson went before Travis Hunter in this draft.
It's like,
I was like, guys,
we don't even know if Emmett Johnson is going to make the Chiefs. We don't know.
It's an actual possibility. So that's just the rookie fever. Team 9 going with Andrews, Ferguson, Brenton Strange, back to back. Interesting there. They do have Dak and Lamar, so it makes a little bit of sense stack-wise. Henry, Gamewell, Jones. Going a little bit hero RB approach. So we are 2-3-7-1 though through 13 rounds of this draft. So we're going to have about 5 more picks to round this thing out. Need at least, I would say, Hayden, 2 more running backs. Obviously need another tight end, and then probably get 2 to 3 running backs, 2 to 3 wide receivers, 1 more tight end.
Yeah, I think anything's really open here. I think we could end this team with 7 wide receivers if we're feeling risky. If the right one falls to us, I think we can push the button. I would say for sure 5 running backs, and then I would lean towards a 3rd quarterback, but let's stack it up. And if we don't get one, I think that's totally fine. We're in a good spot. We can pivot.
We could try to get Mendoza. Like, why couldn't he do his best Tyler Shuck impression?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally could see that.
Okay. Dalton Schultz also on the board if we want to go ahead and stack it up. Hell, we could get Terrence Ferguson later, but we do have Stroud. I'm not going to go out of my way for Dalton Schultz, but he's been okay 2 of the last 3 years.
Yep. I agree. I think Schultz is totally fine. And then with Burrow, there's really not anyone I'm really, chasing on that team. We just want Burrow to chase and T. Higgins specifically.
This is the 1 year of my life I'm not drafting Mike Gesicki, so he'll probably decide to ball out like it's 2019 again.
They have the training. I mean, better than anyone. They have the training camp and preseason goats as like their wide receiver 4s, 5, 6s, their tight end 3's a preseason goat. Like that team is like unreal depth wise if you only looked at the preseason and training camp highlights.
Hey, I got my 32 team draft coming up, Hayden. Mitchell Tinsley.
Yes, dude. What the hell is that? Like he's like Isaac Tesla, but doesn't see the field ever.
AFC Tesla is the perfect comp. I love it. Yeah. Should we get Mendoza here because we can kind of figure out everything else?
Yeah, I think Mendoza is actually really ideal. The only thing is our quarterbacks are on week 6 and week 8 buys, so that would be the only thing. But I think the upside's worth it. I mean, even if we miss a week or 2, I think that's Mendoza. Okay. Yeah, I like the upside.
Just don't mess it up in week 6 and 8, CJ and Joe. We would appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Got Dalton Schultz here. Dylan Sampson, if you're into that kind of thing.
I kind of am. I like some of the tight ends here. I think Schultz probably, if you're just like,
we got Stroud.
Best ball math. It's like, hey, we need this position. We have the quarterback. I don't have anything negative to say about him.
Look, I don't think Schultz is like a difference maker, but he could be the tight end 10, tight end 11. I don't want anything to do with him in a redraft, obviously. But he could be one of those guys where it's tight end 11 to tight end 23 are separated by 1 point, and he could be at the top of it.
Yeah, so this is about the range where if you're looking at projections for the tight ends versus the wide receivers that are getting drafted right next to them, the tight ends straight up project for more points. So like AJ Barner versus Antonio Williams, like AJ Barner would project for more points than Antonio Williams. Same thing with Stribling. A lot of these guys, Trey Harris versus Dalton Schultz, like I think that Dalton Schultz would pop up in raw projections. Like that's always the thing to keep in mind as you're saving your tight end 2, tight end 3 bullets. It's like that one team that drafted back to back tight ends. I would guess if you looked at those 3 tight end projections versus the 3 wide receivers drafted next to them, that the tight ends would pretty much match what the wide receivers are doing. So like in terms of like flex appeal, it's like almost the exact same flex appeal. It's not even just the tight end spot.
So definitely good to, again, maybe save a tight end spot or 2 for this point in the draft. So are going to need some running backs here. We have 3 more picks. Every team is a MarShawn Lloyd team, Hayden. So I would like to try to bring that home. Let's go.
Really agree.
Let's go.
I mean, it's like, what are we waiting for? He's healthy and they want him to be the running back 2 and he might be the running back 1. I mean, this sounds good. And the team's awesome. And they want to run the ball.
The fact that he and Brooks haven't moved at all while Jacobs is moving down just doesn't add up. So I couldn't agree more. And dude, like LaFleur, before these last 2 Jacobs years, LaFleur always used committees. It was Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, Derek freaking Henry and Dion Lewis, man. So again, we're asking a lot, but what if he does stay healthy, guys? That's all I'm saying here. So are you good with 2 tight ends?
I'm open to a third. I think we could stick with 2. I think with tight end and quarterback, or we already got the 3rd quarterback, but I think
we got 7 wide. If we didn't run so pure on some of those wide receivers we liked at the wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 range, maybe I would have something else to say. But I hear you. Ray Davis, you buying? Like here are some.
I like Ray. I like Ray Davis a lot, actually. MarShawn Lloyd and Ray Davis are 2 of my favorite, deep sleepers. So those.
We're on the clock. Would you rather get Ray or Terrence Ferguson? I'm reserving pick 17 for Lloyd.
I would go Ray.
Let's go Ray. Cool. And then we could try to push Lloyd. I don't know. I kind of like to get him.
Let's go Lloyd. We both like him.
I do like me some Terrence Ferguson. I've also, we probably won't do it on this team because we have Bowers already, but round 18, Michael Mayer. Maybe it's more of a dynasty thing. It's over on DK where you got 20 rounds to do this, man. That's where Michael Mayer is a little more interesting. Trade, but also look at that wide receiver room.
Yeah, they need him.
I'm not saying it's going to be Gronk, Aaron Hernandez, because that's always what we go back to, 15 freaking years ago at this point. We're getting old, but Kubiak's a smart guy. If you're putting out your top 5 skill position guys, Michael Mayer is one of them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's clickable as a dart throw. All these guys project for pretty much nothing. I think that he's totally justified. And I think there is like an outcome where Brock Bowers is balling out. He misses weeks, let's say 8 through 12. Mayer pops up, and then Bowers is back for the fantasy playoffs. And like we wouldn't have made the fantasy playoffs if we didn't have Bowers. Like those like little things, like they actually do matter in basketball. Like I hate to like do full galaxy brain, but like some like the teammate stacking stuff like could apply.
I don't hate it. All right, I'll kill Michael Mayer right now.
I've been drafting Colby Parkinson round 18.
Ooh.
I mean,
he did score how many freaking touchdowns last
year? He was
a
baller last year, and like there's not a lot of depth at wide receiver if something ever happened to Puka or Devontae Adams. And like
let's look at everyone with a round 18 plus ADP and count how many touchdowns they had last year. It's gonna be Colby Parkinson like 8 ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, I mean he was like the tight end like 20 something, maybe 21 last year. Terrence Ferguson's Tutu Atwell. Like, if you guys have been paying attention, Terrence Ferguson is like the deep threat, and Colby Parkinson's like the every down guy. So he's at least interesting. There's a couple tight end sleepers, like Greg Dulcich. He goes earlier than that, but I think he makes a lot of sense. I do like the Colby Parkinson stuff. AJ Barner's my other big one late in draft.
I think I'm good on running back. There goes Parkinson. Yep. Wide receivers, Aiyuk. Thornton.
Let's see. Hold on. Could you see the board? I can't see who's available still. Yeah. I'm absolutely in on Aiyuk, like beyond in.
Second last pick of the draft. Sure.
I mean, Tyquan Thornton's also another one. If we really zoom out, he was pretty good on a per route basis. He's the clear wide receiver 3. He was a former he was a 2nd round pick. If Mahomes balls out, I mean, he can be a lot of fun. We already have Xavier Worthy, so it's like this is like anti-Kelsey and that type of stuff.
I just think it's not even if, it's when the Chiefs make a move for like Diggs or one of these guys. That's my only concern. But if we make it to week 1, man, I hear you. Bateman's been another guy, round 18. I've been clicking. It's a sickness. I'm happy that you're there with me.
I don't know why he isn't good. Like, so can somebody explain why he isn't actually good? Like, he looks fine enough, and he's just like does absolutely nothing. It's a wild thing.
And then I know you probably see it too. But like in April and March, we're doing these studies on draft prospects. Like, oh, there's Rashad Bateman again with these numbers up there with everyone.
Yeah, I know. He is always somebody that it's comping to. Like if a player is like, he's probably a 2nd round pick. I don't love him. That's Rashad Bateman. Like that's like how have my mental model.
Just about to get Xavier Thomas, Bears speedster out of LSU, maybe get some running back snaps.
That's my Brandon Aiyuk line. Xavier Thomas, like, you know what? Let's draft Brandon. I know he might be completely lost here. Brandon Aiyuk is the best 18th round pick you could possibly dream. All these guys' baseline is 0 fantasy points. Like, what if?
Welcome to the freaking squad. Hayden, I think we, what's the expression? Landed the boat or something like that. I feel good about this team, man. This might be a posted on Twitter sort of team, not a forget about it and hope no one reminds us. So again, it went with Bijan Robinson in round 1. Didn't get another running back till round 5, but managed to get 2 quality ones in our humble opinions, DeAndre Swift and Jaylen Warren. Round out that position with Ray Davis and MarShawn Lloyd later in the draft. 2 guys where, probably need an injury or something to happen to really hit it big, but never know, could offer some level of standalone value. We got Joe Burrow in round 6 to stack up with our guy T. Higgins. Rounded out QB with CJ Stroud, stacked with Jaden Higgins and also Dalton Schultz later. Fernando Mendoza with Brock Bowers. Wide receivers, obviously, with only 2 through 7 rounds. We had to go heavier later, but 2 good ones with T. Higgins and Jaylen Waddle. I do believe both could F around and finish as wide receiver 1s. And then Worthy, Pearsall, KC Concepcion, Jaden Higgins, Travis Hunter, and Brandon Aiyuk. Looking at this board, Hayden, if Brandon Aiyuk is a member of the Washington Commanders in August, where do you think he goes?
We did this game with Josh, and I thought it was like Rashid Shaheed, Jalen Coker, Romeo Dobbs territory. I think the earlier the better. Like if he signed tomorrow, I think that we can get to like Michael Wilson, Michael Pittman. But and thing that's in the back of my brain, we're young enough here. We understand social media. This whole next generation, it's all trolls. They just know to troll. And like, I do wonder if like this whole thing that was last week with him and Jaden Daniels, that was a big time troll job. It would be nice if Brandon Aiyuk realized that he has to, apply for reinstatement and show up to the 49ers facility. I will say that would be nice if he admitted that. But I think eventually Jaden Daniels is going to call and be like, go to the 49ers facility today so you can come to the Commanders facility tomorrow. Please. And I think that's eventually still going to happen. Like, it's definitely risky. But, like, I mean, we're talking about freaking Xavier Thomas, Pat Bryant, Keon Coleman, David and Joe.
He's going, I'm with you. He's obviously taking a very, very peculiar, interesting stance to this whole situation. But I believe Brandon Aiyuk wants to play football this year.
He said it. I mean, I'm not fully convinced, but I still think like the most likely outcome is the young guy that's played football his entire career wants to make millions of dollars continuing to play football. I would still put the odds above 50% that he plays football this year on the Commanders, but it's getting closer to about 50%. I think if you would ask me a month ago, I'd been like, oh, this is like 85%. Now it's probably like 55%. He's not earned the benefit of the doubt necessarily, but let's zoom out for a second. I still think that he's, the 26-year-old wants to continue playing football, but who knows?
And again, we want another wide receiver on the squad. With all due respect to Pat Bryant, Pat Bryant's Pat Bryant. I don't see how
I love Pat Bryant, but not in fantasy. Yeah,
not in
Sean
fantasy.
Payton loves Pat Bryant for other reasons. Brandon Aiyuk, we're here to win $2 million.
And look, if you're going to be sick in the head and drafting in July, like all of us, first of all, we love you. Welcome. But yeah, you should be taking chances on guys where, again, they have that chance to move up. Similar sentiment with MarShawn Lloyd in round 17. So truly, Hayden, again, first one of these I did on the channel. Please, everyone, don't hold me to this standard in the future because I do think this draft went up pretty nice for us. But no, I'd like to think we can keep some good stuff going. But I like this squad, man.
Good squad, yeah. It's textbook and roster construction. I think the stacking stuff. We didn't bring up week 17 stacking a single time here. I don't even know what it is, but maybe that was something. And then also the game 3, bringing T. Higgins across the board, like those little things. I thought it was nice. And also Brock Bowers plus Bijan doesn't happen all that much, just because Bowers fell a little bit. So yeah, it's a hot team.
That is hot, man. Well, Hayden, fantastic. Congrats on all your success, man. You and Josh, truly.
Thank you. You too, man.
You've seen it. I appreciate it, man. But you've seen it the whole last 4 days, man. Like, best YouTube creators out there, best football minds out there. You guys are just doing such a great job. So I'm happy everything, went well for you. Yahoo Sports, Dream Team, Matt Harmon, Justin Boone, Nate Tice already on the squad, now joining up. Anything else you want to shout out, man?
No, I really just can't wait to go, collab with all of them. Like you said, like it is like the foundation. Like, I've been playing Yahoo since I looked back, it's like 2006. Like I've been playing there for fucking ever. It's like to actually join the team when it's as loaded as it is. It's really cool.
Last question for you. This year, you getting 315?
I don't think so, man. I'm at least repping 225s, but 315 feels a long way. And like I know what August looks like, and I know what September looks like in our lives. It doesn't seem like I'm going to be over there a whole lot. Maybe I get on some like trend or something crazy and get after it, but I don't think so. I think 2027, no excuses.
Okay, there we go. I'm not gonna lie. Since my football days were over, I have not put more than 225 on the bar for anything. I'm just kind of repping it out. I don't really want to ask anyone for a spot. I know you're working out in your garage, so that's probably another factor.
No spot. No, yeah, the wife wouldn't save my life. Yeah, that's more motivation.
Oh my god, you gotta get Rubman over there one time to help you out. But
I don't need that.
Dude, I remember like prime going to play D3 college football, but I was working out with my buddy, and the most I ever benched one time was 300. And then me and him looked at each other. We looked at each other and we were just like 315. I wish I would have tried it before the 300. I got it off the chest. I couldn't quite get it.
That's like the most D3 story of all time. I know. I love it. It's so great. It's so great.
Well, Hayden, you were great. Thank you again, brother. Again, congrats on all your success. You guys already all follow Hayden and Josh and everything, but make sure you go check out Yahoo. So many great things. And yeah, true godfathers of the fantasy industry. Love playing over at Yahoo, and love paying attention to all of their content. So thank you, Hayden. And thank you guys for tuning in to Best Ball Draft over here on Ian Hartitz's RotoWire Fantasy channel, which I'll probably try to figure out a different name at some point. Whatever. You guys know what you're getting here. It's been a fun time. So thank you, Hayden. Thank you guys. If you liked the video and like the video, hitting that subscribe button always helps as well. Until next time, take care, everybody.